doing that and wholesaling at the same time was definitely a struggle. And then going into summer, I actually had to work full time, working actually 50 plus hours a week. Like from that first time to now, I don't even think like I'm a complete different person. Like even speaking to another individual is just completely different. I mean, learning this like skill, like sales, game changer.
Everyone to another episode of the Investor Deli podcast where we make the information a star. Please like, subscribe to the episodes, to the show. If it really matters to you and you're getting a lot of experience and knowledge from these episodes, please hit that smash button and also support my merch brand. I have a merch brand specifically tailored to you, the investor, which I've created. To one of a kind merch store. It's kind of real dedicated to the investor in you. These are deal makers. These are knowledge is the key. I'll hit my link up. You'll see my QR code. We'll hit that up. I appreciate the supports. I'm getting great reviews on that as well. And again, thank you for all the watchers and listeners. Again, and here we go with another episode of the Investor Deli podcast. And here we got Aiden Sierra in the house. What's up, big doggy?
What's up, man?
I'm
Yeah.
awesome. I'm excited to have you on. Every so often, I like to showcase the young world on my pod just to reach back and see what they're doing, what they're going through as well is important to me to always be connected with the young people in the community. And I like to always reach back and hopefully you can connect me one day with someone else as Colin introduced me to you and we can continue that chain. So I appreciate you coming on. Colin referred me to you, so I appreciate Colin. Shout out to him, another fellow Aggie. So let's get into it. Ruben, obviously, I just dropped a little hint, right? So let us know what you're doing and where you're from.
Yeah. So right now, currently, I'm in college. I just turned 19. I'm going into my second year. I'm from Texas, of course, specifically San Antonio. And right now, I'm trying to be an entrepreneur. Started my venture in wholesaling around 18 months ago in February. Been doing it ever since.
That's awesome. And then I spoke to Colin recently, just on some follow up, just checking on him, and he had some great news on kind of what you were doing. Like you kind of got some across the table. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So we finally got a deal, or I finally got a deal in New Orleans. Uh, Pretty big assignment fee. I'm not gonna lie. It's gonna close here soon, like within a week. And right now, it's looking really good. It was a bit of a process. I called it back in early June, and now it's been 2 months. It's ready to close soon. Yep.
That's what's up. I can tell by the smile on your face. So tell us about the journey, right? Because tell us a backstory of you said you've been on the space a little while. Give us
Mhm.
kind of the back end story of how it took you to get here, right?
Yeah, I'll go.
Tell us a little bit about this win coming up.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll start from scratch. Basically, I started wholesaling in February. It was definitely difficult for me starting because I was still in high school at the time, and I was like in a lot of AP classes, which for those who don't know, which means college level classes. And I had to take a test at the end of the year or May, for example. And doing that and wholesaling at the same time was definitely a struggle. And then going into summer, I actually had to work full time, working actually 50 plus hours a week, just so I could have money and stuff for college. And so I was actually doing that and wholesaling, basically sacrificing typical senior year fund for a future security. And that's where I started. That was like the foundation. And then going into college, my roommate Colin, of course, he helped me so much. So props to him. Thank you. I thank him so much, honestly. And
Salute to Colin, for
yeah,
real.
we grinded together. We did college together, and keeps going. Of course, there's a bunch of hardships. I had to start getting more jobs, just to afford like this lifestyle, and just being able to like have food on the table and stuff like that every night, and then wholesaling, of course. So going into that deal, I did. It took me a while. I think it was about 15 to 16 months till I finally
Whoa.
thought I actually like was considered like I know what I'm doing on the phones, and then that's when the deal came through. I gave a call. I got the everything I needed. I don't want to go too deep into detail, but I got everything I needed, handed it to my senior team partner, and we got it locked up.
That's the win. Salute to you for doing that and grinding that sucker out, right? Going through that that mental fortitude to be say, yo, dude, is this for me? What are you thinking? You know what I'm saying? Is this gonna work? I'm in school. I'm trying to, again, kudos to you to sticking through it, get that proof of concept, right? Where you could say, yo, I got this, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine just recalling back when you made your first call, let's say,
Oh,
right? And that moment, right? Can you touch on that kind of
yeah.
that led you
Yeah.
then connected to the deal where you then got right the process, the journey.
Dude, I'll tell you right now, especially for all young people who are starting in wholesaling, I literally hung up on my first call. Like I did not like I was so nervous. I mean like honestly, like from that first time to now, I don't even think like I'm a complete different person. Like even speaking to another individual is just completely different. I mean, learning this like skill, like sales, game changer, really. And I really do recommend everyone to get into some sort of sales. I really do. And wholesaling is a perfect one. You learn real estate and you get good on the phones and you learn how to communicate with people. Drive the conversation. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, control, right? Having some sort of control, a navigation system, that skill set, right? That'll never leave you. Like it's etched in you now, right? That you can
Oh yeah.
actually, right? You can take anyone's objections or limited beliefs,
Yeah.
and you could literally flip it on a dime and get extract kind of the information you want. Kind of like Pace says, the bunnies. Where's the bunnies, right? So that's kind of awesome. Are you also part of Sub Two as well?
So actually I am not. I did join the public group. I don't have the funds currently to join, but hey, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. The networking is where it's at in that group.
Yeah,
Really.
oh, for
Uh-huh.
sure. No, for sure, for sure. That's gonna be awesome. Again, it's just the time to get you in there. And I know you said something prior when we kind of talked about. You said something about that purple little book and what it meant to you, right?
Yep. Yep.
You called it the
Yeah.
purple tape, right?
The Purple Bible.
The purple Bible for real. I'm a little old school. I call it purple tape. Raekwon the chef.
Yeah, yeah,
Good.
yeah. As a matter of fact, Colin showed me that book. I was on the way to the gym one night, and this was again before I started wholesaling. This was probably back in last year, January. Yeah. It's honestly crazy how far I've gone in this short amount of time. I would have never thought I'd be here in this position if it wasn't for the Purple Bible. And so I read that book, changed my perspective, took action. Just like that. And that's what's needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like,
what was in there? What was in there that triggered something, right? Where was the trigger that you were like, yo, what is this?
oh,
Oh my goodness.
oh, I
Damn,
know.
it's gonna flip, you know what I'm saying? Like flip my whole brain upside down, right?
I'll tell you right now. Yeah. So I come from a family that's very identical to the poor dad's perspective, and
Word.
that's what really like almost had that like personal connection to the book. It's like, oh my god, like it makes sense. Like I always like growing up wondered like, you know, I'll go back to the book. I always grew up wondering like how come we couldn't afford things? You know, why was it like always like stuck to one idea like, oh, we can't afford it, wait till next month to the paycheck, or you know what I mean, like stuff like that, or oh, we can only go on vacation once a year for like a couple days. You know, like I didn't my mindset was nothing different from that. Like I didn't know anything from that. Reading that book really taught me and showed me a whole new perspective and relating it to the poor dad's perspective. So the rich dad had these ideals, these morals, and these ethics that he needed to follow to I like chase this life he wanted. You know, hey, you can't afford something at the store. Why not? Why can't you? There's something you're doing that you're not able to do to afford that. While a poor dad person would be like, just enjoy what you have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was like, I don't want that. I want my kids to live the life I didn't have. And so that means sacrificing, college life, no partying, no all that stuff, no drinking, no smoking, none of that. It's time to lock in right now, Do it for my mom, my dad who worked their butts off every like month after month, they don't even know what it's like to like not work. And so my mission in life is literally to retire them before I'm 25, make my kids have the best life and not worry about college tuition, and really let them enjoy the life they could have. I never got to, do all these. I was in sports, for example, soccer. I couldn't join higher teams because it was too expensive. I couldn't travel up to other states. It was too expensive. I don't want to ever put that burden on my kid. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to not, hustle, not work on something, not I'm saying me as a person, it is what I want. And I think it is good for me.
No, that's dope. That book is like a fine piece of china that everyone should have in their household, right? It just
100%.
it's going to flip your mindset on a dime once you really get to absorb it. It's going to resonate with you because it's such a simple story of just the pros and the cons, and there's nothing bad about either, right? It's just
Yeah,
perspective,
there's no bad. Yeah.
right? It's just a mindset. Wow, I can do this. I've been not doing anything, not being accountable, not really going for it, taking responsibility. Right? It's an incredible read. Right? It's so creative, and then he created ideas out of that because he was financially kind of set. He got crossed over to the other side. It's super highly recommended. It should be in everyone's household. That anybody in the house can read it, and it's going to change the dynamics of your family if that person takes it seriously, as you have. I had when that book initially came out. I bought it and gave it to friends. Friends bought homes off of that. Again, it trickled down. That's a real thing. So I love that you shared that with me because it's kind of the beginnings for a lot of us, right? That's so dope. Now let's get into some of the pits of hell, right? So you were in there for 18 months. There's a lot of struggle there, a lot of second guessing, right? You're like, yo, is this the right thing to do? Am I wasting time? Tell us about some of those lessons of perseverance that made you kind of stick to it a bit.
Yeah, yeah. First thing I want to dive into is it's not about results right now. It's about experience. I'm
Love
young.
it,
It's time to take risk.
for
This
sure.
may this really may not be what's for me. It did take me a while. You know what I mean? But that's not the point. The point is I said I'm gonna do something and I'm gonna stick to it. You know. And
Love it.
so during that time of 18 months, oh gosh, I mean, struggling school. I mean,
Woo.
not struggling, juggling school, job, and wholesaling. I was calling for at least 2 hours a day, and I was on that. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
at first, it was definitely a change. I would say that. Especially going into college, I was hours away from family. Uh, by myself, practically in an apartment with my roommate. That's honestly a really good thing. And I want one thing I will say to everyone else, especially starting, have someone there with you, keeping you accountable. That's one thing I will say that helped me a lot, especially during those hard times and struggle. But diving into like struggles and stuff like that, it was definitely hard. I mean, there was times when I was like looking at my computer, like having that shell shock stare, just like damn, like you know what I mean, like I just got called the F word like maybe 6 times in 1 hour.
Yo, that's insane. How you go through it, right? Like how you just stick to it and just be like, let's do it again, right? You gotta have a little
Oh,
cycle in you just
oh
to
yeah, yeah.
continue, right? Getting knocked down, literally, right?
Oh yeah, family, 100% family. Like you gotta find something you gotta work for. You know what I mean? Like I said, I not only do I want to make my family proud and retire them, not just my two brothers that I have as well, but I want to inspire other kids who kind of grew up like me. Like I really do think it's unfair for me to have this knowledge because of how like it's just so powerful to have this knowledge. Like there's people I know out there who definitely have the potential, putting all this time and effort into like for example a school or a job, and it's like damn, like you're kind of like stuck there forever. You know what I mean? Um, like a salary based job or doing school or something like that. I really want to inspire other people who are like me, growing up like me, who just don't have knowledge or anyone out there to really just tell them, like, hey, look, have you ever thought about doing this or thinking of life a certain way? And that's why I'm so thankful for that Purple Bible, that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That kind of like is where I want to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Some sort of influence on the world. I want to make the world better. I want to impact younger generations as well as like of course my kids as well. Teach them how to like live life, and it doesn't mean living it the way I did, you know. But yeah.
That's dope. He said a very important thing. So you guys remember your why, right? Have a reason. What's your reason? He said his family, his future family. You know, want to make his family, his parents proud. So identify your why. And for me, it's also my mom. You know, she's passing out, but she's a big reason why I do what I do. So that resonates with me a lot. And like I repeat it again, identify your why, right? Just sit down, even though, and write down your whys, the reasons why you want to do whatever you want to do, because you're going to hit a wall. You're supposed to hit a wall. The obstacle is the way, right? You have to go through these obstacles and you're
Yeah,
going to be tested. So it's important when you hit those moments that you have something to reflect on that carries you to the other side, right? That literally carries you from this side to that side, where then you start seeing the results of those pains that you encountered that now you have in your rear view mirror to say, wow, I was able to do that. So
yeah,
everyone identify your why.
yeah.
Literally take time out, sit down, write it down on a piece of paper, and literally say, why are the reasons is this what I want to do, whatever endeavor I want to do. So yeah, that's super, super important. And I don't take it lightly. As you see, he mentioned it quickly, his reasons. So it's super, super. Now let's get into some vision casting. This portion I call the makings of a hero, right? You're a young guy, you're wholesaling, and you wholesaling in multiple markets. You're wholesaling about five different markets, right? Uh, what do you see yourself being in the next 3 to 5 years, and what are your goals, and what do you want to be doing in this business? If this is the business that you end up kind of, let's say,
Mhm.
growing into.
Yeah, yeah. Um, right now, I only see myself still doing wholesaling in 3 to 5 years. If I can make some sort of agency or some sort of way I can passively move away from it. I don't want to be doing this forever. I definitely want to get into something to make more money. You know what I mean? And
Sure.
that's, as a matter of fact, what I'm already starting to do. Right now, I'm starting to already try and promote ads or boost businesses, for example, specifically contractors. Um, yeah, so I mean, if anyone's in construction, I'd love to connect with them, whoever watches this video. But right now, that's kind of like where I'm already starting to transition into. Of course, still wholesaling, of course. But in 3 to 5 years, I ultimately do not want to be hustling as hard as I am right now. I definitely don't. I want to, in 3 to 5 years, I definitely see myself doing something completely different. And not because it's not something I want to do, but because I should be moving on to better things. Wholesaling isn't something, it's like a hustle. I definitely want to either create a business out of wholesaling, or you know have some sort of way where I can like inject myself in every single deal. Maybe it being my knowledge, teaching someone else, having a CRM, anything. Really, I always think about it like, how am I getting, like, what's next? Okay, I got my first deal. All right, what's next? Let's get some more. Let's get 10 more. Let's get 20 more. Okay, but then what's next after that? Okay, and then what's next after that? And then what's next after that? And it's just an ongoing cycle. I keep thinking I'm 10 years down the road, not five. I'm 10 years down the road. And so, like, it's something I'm really passionate about. And just like I really do see myself 10 years from now. I really want to impact more than 1 million people's lives. That's the goal. I really want to impact my family's lives, family friends' lives, younger generations coming in. I'm sure they want to make money just like me, but they don't know how. I want to do something special, you know? So yeah.
I love that. I love that, and I love the conviction. Right, you mean what you're saying. So it's now the only thing between you and your conviction is time, right? And you will get there. Believe that. I believe you
I
will
believe
get to where
myself.
you right to where you want to go. You're a very smart young man with your goals set, and it's incredible to connect with young people in this space who are so focused right on their goals and aspirations and their future as well, and how they want to bring others along, right? How they want to impact others, and that they can help their families as well. So it's a chain reaction, right? A chain of hope, right? A chain of success. We're not in it alone, right? Which is incredibly valuable, especially in the real estate space. It's such a networking business, right? A hand-to-hand business, and really connecting with people that you want to resonate and work with it, have opportunities. So I love that you're already planning ahead, envisioning where you want to be. Give us some some parting words that you want to tell people, young people, family members, your future family, whoever it is that you want to touch, right? And just let us know what you feel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so some advice I would like to give, going through what I've gone through, specifically this month in April of this year, I think I was at the lowest point of my life. Yeah, I think I had the most education, everything to back it for. I didn't have a deal yet, but I had a lot of success, not just monetary, but up here and who was around me. So there's like a couple things I definitely want to say for partying. One, it's all about who you surround yourself with. You surround yourself someone who's a junkie, doesn't do crap, that's what you're gonna do. Or influence to be do.
For sure.
Surround yourself someone who's like-minded, someone who's ambitious. That's where the real gold is at. That's where it starts. You know what I mean? That's your foundation right there. Then if you're ever worried about like, oh, is it ever gonna work? Everything works. No matter what. I guarantee you, if you're the best at one thing, like the best, top 1.01%, I guarantee you're making money. And how to do that, how to like not second guess yourself during that progress, work so hard, it'd be crazy not to do it. It'd be crazy not to make a dollar. Work so hard that it just wouldn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not like making money at least like 2 years down the road and you're giving your all 110%, then you really gotta reevaluate. But even so, you keep at it, you might find something down that road and make more money. Like, I guarantee you, working on something, doesn't matter what it is, you're gonna find a path or find that path in that niche to make money. No matter what, like no matter what.
I love that. Agent Aiden, where can people connect with you? What are your social media handles? Or people want to reach out and be part of your journey? Where can people reach you?
Yeah, yeah. My Instagram is just gonna be like my name, AIDAN underscore Sierra SIERRA 44. And that's gonna be most of my socials on Facebook. My YouTube is gonna be the Aiden Sierra, and I talk about my journey on that one, and more videos are coming that way too, and what helped me especially. And yeah.
Young man, I love your journey. I'm glad Colin was able to connect us. Anyone here who's interested in being in real estate and being in this line of business, I believe the best community in the world is Sub 2. Sub 2 is a community of like minded people where there's full of thousands and thousands and thousands of goal givers, and you will not do this alone. So if you're interested in joining Sub 2, I'll put a link up so you could join Sub 2. Not only Sub 2 as well. If you have money and you don't know what to do with it, and you're sitting in the bank and you're just a hardworking person and your money's just losing value, just sitting in the bank, you become a lender, you become a gator in the community as well. And you can partner with people who have more experience with you and they can carry you along the journey. And obviously, you're investing money, so you have to think about a lot of safety. So you can join the Gator community as well. I'll put a link there as well. And again, everyone, thank you for being present with us today. Thank you, Aiden, for giving us the pleasure of having you on. And everyone, again, like and share the podcast, subscribe as well, and continue watching our journey as we grow. Thank you,
Mhm.
brother.
Yep.